When I got offered this show, I think they probably assumed I was just going to show smaller works on paper because that's all anyone has seen me do. But when they offered it to me, I was like, I have to use this as the reason to make the paintings. But I want to keep doing this. Like, this show to me is not me being like, I made some paintings. It's like, this is something I'm adding to my practice. The thing that makes this body of work cohesive to me is less about there being an overarching new story or theme that I came up with, and more about, since it's my first time showing my work in this kind of a setting, like hanging a bunch of my work at once, it was kind of more about me just trying to create a larger cohesive narrative through how my process has been over the last few years. So I'm showing like some older works on paper and then newer works on canvas, and the trajectory and the story that's there for me is more about like my journey through how I've been changing the way I make my work. People don't get to see my originals ever. People just see like zines, and it's really different to see the original works on paper because they're so like subtle and tiny. Actually, when I think about it, it's like, you know, my work like 5 years ago or 6 years ago was dealing with a lot of the same stuff, but like women in those images were like hurting themselves a lot. It's like something that I thought about recently. I drew a lot of women like cutting themselves or like stabbing themselves or whatever, just a lot of like really intense like physical harm, and I don't really depict that anymore, and it wasn't really even a conscious choice, it just kind of happened.
Yeah.
And I think that's because I kind of stopped being quite as like cruel to myself. And making the work helps me through that too. Like, it's not just a process of like, I feel like it's not just one-sided, like I'm working on myself and then my work reflects that. It's like I'm working on myself and then making the work is a period of time where I'm like thinking about all that shit too, and the act of like painting or drawing is like helping me process my shit too. So it's like really cyclical.